The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And good morning to you, one and all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live this Tuesday morning, Tuesday, May number 16 in the year of our Lord 2017. Call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. I don't know what it is, but today, maybe it's just me, I guess. I don't know. But today, the sound here in the studio sounds awesome again today. Yesterday, not so much. I don't know what was going on yesterday. Maybe because it was Monday. I don't know, but I was kind of happy to be here yesterday. Well, I know what it is. Yesterday was a miserable, cool, rainy, gray, blah kind of day. The day after, some places here in New Hampshire got 6 inches of snow on Mother's Day. Yeah, I kid you not. Driving home from my mommy's house for Mother's Day on late Sunday evening and passing through parts of my wonderful, beautiful Granite State and noticed that they had plowed. And there was lots and lots of snow in certain regions. And it made the news. Yeah, we got hit with a spring nor'easter snowstorm in mid-May. I've often told folks we've gotten snowstorms, major accumulation. It didn't stay around long, but still major accumulation as late as June here in New Hampshire. I know people who don't live here, they don't understand it or get it. And some of you are thinking, what, snow in May? Come on. It made the national news, folks. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. I saw it with mine own two eyes. But today is a very bright, sunny day. And we had 6 inches of snow in many parts of the state on Sunday night into early Monday morning. We had temperatures in the 30s and 40s yesterday, high in the low 50s. And starting today, we're going to rise, and by Thursday, we're expected to hit a high of 95. Yeah, I also did a double take on that too. Like, what? Now 95 is, now we're supposed to be in the 80s tomorrow, 70s today, so we're progressing. Now 90s in May is rare around here. I'm not going to lie. It's rare. Do I want it? Actually, no. No, I don't. Because it takes some getting used to that. I like heat. I don't mind 85, 90-degree weather. I don't like it when it's extremely muggy, but I don't mind 85, 90-degree weather. It's kind of nice, kind of comfortable. But your body has to kind of get used to it. It's kind of like, part of my this is how try to figure this out. If you're a northerner, northern half of the country, I don't care where you are, northern half of the country, and it is December or January, and it's usually, the colder parts of your month. So what do? You usually go south for a vacation during the winter, right? Now you go south and you figure, and you get to places, in certain places at that time of year, it's 60 or 70 degrees. Well, you're used to 30 degrees or you're used to 20 degrees. Your body's acclimated to those temperatures. So you get down in the south and it's 60 degrees. You're warm. You're hot. You're at the beach. You're in shorts. You're in a tank top. You're in, if you're a guy, you have, or an exhibitionist, you're not wearing any shirt. And the locals are bundled up. Why? Because you're used to colder temperatures at that particular point in time. So when you get to some place that is warm, comparatively speaking, you're not just warm, you're very comfortable and in your summer mode because your body's used to something much colder. It's amazing how the body acclimates to its surroundings. It is your body. God did a wonderful thing when He designed a human being because it acclimates itself to a lot. How do you explain how people like Eskimos lived where they lived? In Alaska and in northern Canada. I mean, it's just, they're Inuit. They're not called Eskimos anymore. We got to be politically correct by that, right? But the body acclimates itself to its surroundings and its climate very well. We adapt very well. But we don't do it overnight. That's the whole thing. So I don't want to go from, 30s, 40s, and 50s in one day, all of a sudden, in the next day, it's 95. It's going to be uncomfortable, to tell you the truth. Just saying. I'm not complaining. I mean, at this point in time, I'd rather have 95 degrees above zero than 95 below zero. It doesn't get 95 below zero, Rod, in most places humans live. Well, I know, but you understand what I'm saying. We're expecting some record highs later this week, and it's going to be uncomfortable because it's so early in the season, and we're not used to the warmer weather yet. But that's fine. Rather deal with that. I know some people are going to be pulling out their air conditioners already. I'm not a person who's an air conditioner person. I'm really not. Anyway, welcome to the program this morning, folks. If you are a brand new listener, then you are going to need to pay attention to get to know how we operate here. I like to say that this is a program that is not as similar. Well, I suppose it's similar, but it's not like all the other talking heads out there. I'm not. If I know anything about it, I'm willing to talk about it. So there is no subject that is taboo on this program, and I'm only interested in the truth. I don't care what that truth is. I'm only interested in the truth. Now, there seems to be some stuff floating around out there about, I can't believe I forgot his name. The White House staffer, Seth Rich. Geez, I can't, may he rest in peace. Seth Rich, about a year ago, was murdered in D.C. Now, he's a D.C. operative, a DNC operative in D.C. And the D.C. police, this is an organization, the police department's in D.C. Now, I got to tread lightly here so I don't sound like I'm being anti-cop, but let's face it. Law enforcement personnel in Washington, D.C. seem to be very inept. There are a number of different high-profile and mid-profile cases that have happened within the D.C. district, Washington, D.C. district, that were too conveniently swept under the rug or solved. Vince Foster, probably the most famous case in D.C. It was a suicide. Well, there's a bunch of forensic evidence that points that was an impossibility. But the D.C. Park Police and D.C. Metro Police say, yeah, no, we determined it's a suicide. And that was basically the end of it. Now, in the Seth Rich case, which happened just about a year ago, I'm thinking, right? It was a summertime in D.C., so it's almost a year ago. And the D.C. police said, well, it was a robbery gone bad. And there were a lot of people that were kind of scratching their heads and thinking, how the hell did they know that? There doesn't seem to be evidence to support their theory that it was a robbery. Well, evidently, the Seth Rich's family didn't buy it either. So evidently, they hired some private investigators, some private eyes. And these private investigators seem to have found some information and some evidence that would suggest that Seth was in touch with WikiLeaks before his untimely demise, just before. And there are people out there that point to Podesta, Mr. Podesta, as saying some pretty interesting, very interesting things as it pertains to those people who are construed or considered to be traitors. Leaking information, the wrong kind of information. And there have been statements made by Podesta and others high up in the D.C. organization, in the DNC, that would suggest that, if you break the rule, this is like the mafia here. The DNC is like the mafia. Yeah, you break the rules here, you break your life. Yeah, that's right. You break my rules, I break your life. And by breaking your life, I pull you 6 feet under. You're going to take a dirt nap for the rest of the for eternity, okay? You're going to be pushing up daisies. So, there are people that are taking this kind of stuff that is being said by certain people, including Podesta, that may have... Look, one thing I do know is that throughout history, we've had, modern history, we've had the bad guy. The bad guy, in code, has told us what he's going to do or what he has done. And of course, we haven't been able to figure out this code until much later after the crime, the said crime. But there is code there. This is probably where movies... where movies get the aspect. This is why movies can't be reality, because I don't believe that a bad guy is going to stand there and give a dissertation of how and why he's going to kill you if you're the good guy. He's going to be pretty much like, I think, was it Dr. No? With Sean Connery as James Bond? When this was a very quick exchange. This is what it would be more. This is what it would be more like in real life. When James Bond says, "Do you expect me to talk?" Because he's all tied up. Well, first of all, I don't think the villain is going to tie him up the way he's tied up with a laser at his crotch, but that's flamboyancy. But the verbal exchange is more likely what would happen, because James Bond says, "You expect me to talk?" And I think it was Dr. No. Was it Goldfinger? Maybe I think it was Goldfinger. And Goldfinger looks back at him and says, "Talk no, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die." And that should be it. Bond should be dead after that, tell you the truth. Just saying. But that's what would happen in real life. You could have some quick banter. "You expect me to talk?" "No, I expect you to die." Boom, bye. That's pretty much how it ends. That's how it goes in real life. There's no long dissertation. So when somebody tells you that, you don't do certain things or you suffer the wrath, they're not going to come up to you and catch you and give and talk to you about it and kidnap you and give you, ask you all. They're just going to pop off. They're going to tap you in the head, as they say, and that's it. You're probably not even going to know why. You're probably not even going to know why or who. You'll probably know why. But only for an instant. And that's it. They're not going to waste time on you. So but they'll waste time giving you and warning you in code, because we've seen that in modern history where the bad guys have done that. And that's only to warn the people that should know what they're talking about. And trust me, if Podesta was talking about, or any of the those in the Democratic Party were talking about those people who were being disloyal, I am sure Seth Rich heard it, and he knew that his life was in trouble. And look, there have been times when people got set up. There is probably information that WikiLeaks got that was planted so they could try to catch a leaker. Which is why I don't know why the Trump administration can't seem to catch the leakers that they have. You set them up. It's not hard. It's really not hard to do. Once you narrow down an area or a number of people that you suspect, it's easy to set them up. And what's worse is that it's so easy to set up because they don't know they're being set up. And you would think after watching movie after movie after movie throughout the past 50 years that they'd be able to figure it out. But it's a cat and mouse game, and you never in real life, and you don't know. It's so easy to set somebody up. To find out if they look, people have tested me. I had a friend that. Well, let's just say that we weren't friends after they revealed this, but I did not betray them in any way. It was somebody else, but I was part of that group that was set up. And it was kind of disheartening. So I know, and you believe what you were getting, the information you were getting, you believe to be factual and truthful. And it was upsetting. And then I find out it was nothing but a setup to catch somebody that they were trying to catch that was spreading stuff about them. And I wasn't the person, but still it was upsetting. And I believe the information that was given to me. That's how easy it is. It's easy to set somebody up, folks. I mean, they could. I don't know why they can't catch the person. Maybe. Well, here's the thing. Maybe they already know who it is. And they're using that person right now, the leakers. Because wasn't there some information that was just leaked about the Russians? Yeah, but we're finding out that leaking information is not true. You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avanche brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avanche gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Six 835-3226. Yeah, you can utilize that number to call the program, should you wish to, here on this Tuesday, fantabulous Tuesday morning that we have here. Yeah, so we have this Seth Rich, and people are going, now, first of all, people need to calm down on this one. Because we don't know what the private investigators have dug up. We don't know anything yet. But everybody, I'm seeing it all over the place already. You know, we told you that Seth Rich was murdered. Well, we know he was murdered, but the DNC had something to do with it, or Podesta, or something. You can't go run around making wild accusations like that. You just can't. Not without any evidence, and we don't have the evidence. We don't know what the private investigators found. All we know so far is seemingly what has been the family has released. Yeah, that there seems to be evidence that suggests that DNC staffer was emailing and had contact with WikiLeaks. Now, I don't know what that evidence is. They haven't said yet. I'm sure that they're going to release it and reveal it very soon, but I don't know what it is. So, but it could have, for him to have been found out, it could have been easy for them if anybody suspected that something was being leaked, of which the DNC did. They expected, hacking and leaking and all that kind of stuff back then. It could have been very easy for them to narrow it down to, say, a handful of people and then just give out some false information. And by tagging the information or giving out individualized information, they know which person did the leaking. And I'm just wondering if this is what is happening in the Trump administration with some of the leaking that is still going on. Evidently, we're supposed to believe that Trump is, with the latest leaks from the Russia meeting, the Russian ambassador meeting, that Trump is irate. Now, I'm wondering, because now we're hearing, well, the reality is, and we'll get into this after the break, is that there was nothing leaked to the Russians. Do people realize there is one person that has access to everything in the country. He's got the top clearance and can do whatever he wants with all that information. That's the president. How dumb is it for people to say, well, the president leaked classified intel to some... Well, he's the president. He's the big boss when it comes to that stuff. And it's not leaking when he tells somebody, it's revealing. These are people that don't understand what the hell is going on or how our government actually works, especially when it comes to this. There aren't supposed to be secrets, things that are top secret beyond the president's grasp. There's nobody in government that has higher security clearance than the president. The president is the one that makes all the major decisions. He's the only one. So that information cannot be beyond his ability to see it. Which means that he's the one that has the right to decide what happens to it. If he wants to just blow it out and give it to the newspapers, he can do that. The president is leaking top secret information. The president is top secret.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Welcome back. You know, there are a lot of different things that happen out there in the spy game, if you will. And the spy game is more than just spy versus spy. You know, one government versus another government agent. Basically, it's a lot more than that. And world leaders are in the middle of the spy game. That means presidents and prime ministers and potentates of various countries are also in the middle of the spy game. And when it comes to, based on the different country, I mean, it could be the president of that country, could be the prime minister, whoever, whatever they call the top executive of the country. It doesn't really matter what the title is that every country has one or two people at the top, and they're the ones that make all the major decisions based on their country's laws and or constitutions. Now, ours happens to be called the President of the United States. And the President is the chief executive, the CEO, the big boss, the granddaddy of the entire executive branch of the United States of America. Now, that executive branch, there are many different departments or cabinet-level departments, as we call them, and that includes the intelligence and surveillance departments within our government. You know, the NSA, CIA, ACA, ABD, and CBA, and all those other three-letter acronym clandestine agencies that we have out there. Well, guess who gets to see all of it if he wants to? The president. Guess who doesn't get to see all of it if they want to? Anybody else. Because they need special clearances. They need to be a part of a committee that overlooks that type of area, or they need to be working within that area, or they got to be a general or a civilian equivalent within that area. But they don't get to see the other areas that they're not connected with. The only person who does is the president. And whomever he deems should also be able to look at it all. I mean, it's not difficult to understand. Thereby, who's going to tell somebody that something is top secret? Who's going to tell the president that the top secret stuff that he's got, he's not allowed to reveal because he doesn't have the clearance for it? If there is something out there that the President of the United States does not have clearance to see or review, then we've got a problem. That's unconstitutional. So this notion that you see this, what is it? The Washington Post broke this story. Oh, yeah, the president leaked information. The president isn't leaking anything. The president doesn't leak. If the president decides to tell somebody else the information that he has in his hands, he's probably got a good reason to do so. And he is perfectly within the Constitution and his legal purveyance to do so. There is no leaking. I mean, this is I cannot tell you how discouraged I am by these past 4 months. I mean, I have never, ever in my entire, short life, have I seen this type of disinformation, this time of constant pounding on a president that I have seen under Donald J. Trump. I mean, the left hated George W. Bush. I get it. They called him an idiot and a boob, and, George was just stupid. Yeah, and the left hated Ronald Reagan, and they didn't really like H.W. Bush either. I get it. But you go back in time, this type of veracity that has been put forth against the commander-in-chief is unprecedented. I mean, you got people coming out of the woodwork. Well, we need to impeach him. Impeach the president for what? Because you disagree with him politically? That's not grounds for impeachment. Oh, well, because, he's abusing his power. We've just come off of 8 years of massive abuse of power, and now you want to tell us that you want to impeach a president for abuse of power because, what? He's removed some of the legacy of the previous power-mad, hungry president? This is insane. I'm trying to figure out what are these people thinking or dreaming about? Every damn thing that they complain about, that they say that they want, Trump is trying to deliver for them. But they're fighting him. We want jobs, real jobs. Well, Trump is trying to give you real jobs, and you're out there protesting that. We want to be protected from the bad guy. Well, Trump is trying to protect you from the bad guy. And, but now he's working with Russia. Well, how can he hate Russia, but work with Russia, but dislike Russia and work against them, but still give them secrets? I mean, you guys got to make up your freaking minds here. You're starting to make my head spin. How can it be that Trump does something that you wanted him to do, and then he goes ahead and does it, and you say, oh my goodness, abuse of power. Firing Comey. Comey needs to be fired. Comey needs to be fired. Comey needs to be fired. So Trump fires him, and then you go off the deep end. Look, Comey fired, or Trump fired Comey, so Trump needs to be investigated. It's abuse of power. Impeach. My head is starting to spin. I have never seen anything like this. Historically speaking, there is nothing like this. I can't even go back to the ancient Roman times when the ancient Romans started assassinating their emperors. Even they weren't that crazy. And hell, it's rumored, the speculation is that the Roman Empire, everybody in Rome started to go crazy because of their indoor plumbing, and their indoor plumbing was, their pipes were made of lead, so they got lead poisoning. That explains them. What the hell is explaining the Democrat Party today? I'm trying, every single day I'm reading, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm doing show prep and I'm thinking, I'm doing face palms left and right. I'm surprised my face isn't flat like a boxer. Remember the old style boxers? You knew that they were a boxer because their nose was bent to one side and their eyes were flattened out and spread out, and they had the wry smile because it's permanent on their face because they got hit in the mouth so many. The old boxer looks from the 30s and 40s, but I'm surprised I don't look like that. Every single day it is something new. It's the same stuff, but it's about something new. President signs an executive order. Oh, he needs to be impeached. The president does something that they want him to do, fire somebody. Oh, he needs to be impeached. The president, saves jobs from going overseas. He needs to be impeached. Oh, the president wants to renegotiate to get better terms in certain trade deals. He needs to be impeached. The president wants to nominate a certain person to the bench, to whatever the bench is, Supreme Court, appellate court, doesn't matter. Oh, the president needs to be impeached. It's abuse of power. This is unbelievable. So in other words, what they want Donald J. Trump to do is one of two things: either resign or just sit on his hands and do nothing for the next 4 years. The party that can't win an election to save its life right now is trying to dictate the terms of how this government is going to be run by those who keep winning. And you got the winners who keep kowtowing to the losers. This is unfathomable. Right now, it is very difficult for a real Republican to lose a political race if they really want to win it. And yet, they're kowtowing to those who could not beat them at all. If you gave them a run... Right now, we have got many Democrats out there who are running for office. And if you gave them a 50,000 vote lead, they'd still lose. They can't win. And yeah, you got Republicans running around talking about, well, we can't do this, we can't do that because people won't vote for us. And they try to be a Democrat light. Are you kidding me? Well, they're getting assistance from the lamestream media. I know, I get it. But are there a lot of people paying attention to the lamestream media? Because if they did, how the hell did Donald Trump win in the first place? People are not paying attention to the lamestream media, and the lamestream media gets wilder and more crazy every single day because they know people aren't paying attention to them, and they're throwing a temper tantrum. And it has gotten to the point now where they are saying that the president leaked top secret information when the president basically, that's like saying the president of a corporation, I don't know, GM, Elon Musk of Tesla. Now, they've got top secret, information about their new cars coming about. And Elon Musk just decides to, well, you know what? I'm just going to share this information with everybody. Oh, Elon Musk leaked top secret company information. Elon Musk owns the damn company. He's not leaking anything. So, it's unbelievable. We'll get into this as we get further into the next hour in the show. But I mean, this is, I don't know if you're at the top, how do you illegally leaks? Then who can legally do it? If the president can't legally disseminate information as he sees fit, then who can legally do it? Is there an executive that's higher than the president? I don't know. I haven't seen that in the Constitution. I don't know. Did we change our government where there is actually, are we now like the Roman Catholic Church? And some people are saying, well, what do you mean the Roman Catholic Church? Well, the rumor has it that there's a black pope. The Jesuits are really in charge, and there's a black pope, and what you have in front, what Pope Francis is the white pope that everybody sees, it loves and everything, but the real power and the real goings on and the real strings being pulled is this clandestine Jesuit priest known as the black pope behind the scenes. Do we have a black president? I mean, is Trump the white president? Was Obama and Trump, were they the white president? And there's secretly a guy or woman behind the scenes who's the black president who's really got all the control, and they're the ones that have the ability to leak information, any kind of information they want. Not the white president. So we've got a white president, we've got a black president, just like there's a white pope and a black pope, right? And it has nothing to do with skin color, because that's why I said Obama was also a white president, because there are many people on the left and the right that thought Obama was a puppet. I'm sorry, Obama was just an ideologue. He was anti-capitalist. I don't think he was a puppet. He was just an idiot. He did what he damn well pleased. I don't think anybody else was pulling his strings. Regardless of what the Constitution said, I think he just did what he damn well pleased. I think his executive orders and a bunch of other things were proof of that. I don't think there's a black president. I mean, if there is they're one and the same. Obama was both the white president and the black president. I'm not referring to his parental lineage either. That's another. You got to be so damn careful of how you try to word things when it comes to certain people now, because everybody's so overly sensitive about this black-white thing. Like, people, come on, get over it. Get over it. We're all Americans. Well, we're not all Americans, but you know what I'm saying. We're all Americans here. We're all human beings here. This notion that we need to separate it. Look, the Democrats do this on purpose. And this isn't coming from the rank and file first. The rank and file is just being they're just being co-opted with this crap. This is coming from Democratic leadership. Don't doubt me on this. This is not coming from the rank and file. All of this new type of separation, especially in college. Do you think these college students are really coming up with the idea that they need separate door. Or I got a story here about now you got some students that see racism in paneling on the walls. I kid you not. Do you think these college students are the ones coming up with the ideas all by themselves that they walk into a building, they see the paneling on the walls and think racism? Anybody, does anybody think that? Where do they get those ideas from? Well, it comes from the top. From the top down. Don't doubt me on that. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones where we have our agent 0010 who was listening in and trying to, and probably now he's calling in to give me a hand in explaining what exactly happened with the leaked information and how they figured out or possibly figured out what the hell happened to Seth Rich. Good morning, 0010. How you doing?
All right, Ron. How you doing?
Good. So this new evidence that has come out from these private detectives, I mean, they're revealing that it looks like Mr. Rich was in contact with WikiLeaks, possibly Julian himself, in the days prior to his untimely demise. Now, how would they find that out?
Correct. Okay. Let's go under the premise that the DNC did assassinate, okay, this poor young man. Now, let's go with that premise. Now, when a crime scene is established, or you have a crime scene, of course you cordon off the entire area and you start looking for evidence in that immediate area or just a little bit beyond it. Now, the reason why he was killed outside of his home is because if he were killed inside of his home, that means the entire building or the entire apartment where he was living would have been a crime scene, which means it would have been taped off. So anything and everything that could be evidence would have been gathered up, including what's there and what's not there. So in a crime, somebody's going to go in there, and let's say it's an actual crime, and he was killed in the process of the crime. Well, they're going to take laptops, telephones. They're going to take what they can that is easy to carry in broad daylight. That's why most criminals rob at night, because they can take more with them, such as big screen TVs and so on and so forth. Now, if you do that, then if he would have been killed inside his home, that means that the evidence would have been collected, including laptops, or they would have noticed, why are only the laptops missing? That's really odd. Now, of course, working for the DNC, he had his own his laptop that was issued to him by the DNC. That's SOP. That's why I know this. It's a standard operating procedure, especially seeing as he was an IT person. He needed constant access to the DNC server in case anything happened, including while he's at home in the middle of the night. But what makes me think is that he also had a personal laptop. Everybody does that. Everybody who's issued a company laptop also has a personal laptop. Now, if the laptop would have been missing, well, that would have been a lot of proof. In fact, they would also have to go through the entire apartment to find this laptop. So, of course, they kill him outside. He dies. And the DNC is like, oh, we're so sorry to hear that. By the way, he has one of our laptops. Can we please have it? In this way, the laptop is just handed to them. It's given right into their grubby little hands. But his communications between him and Julian Assange was, I'm almost 100% positive, was on his personal private laptop. Because if it was on his DNC laptop, these individuals would have never have found out about the communications because that information would have been destroyed.
Well,
so the DNC never got their hands on his personal laptop, so they couldn't destroy that evidence.
And the private detectives were able to go and get the personal effects and analyze it and figure this out. Well, I mean, this is just pretty obvious. I get it, but well, this, you know, I don't think the election of 2016 is going to leave us anytime soon. We're going to be surrounded by this for a long period of time. And I got something here that we're going to have to go into in the next hour that may shed some light as to why we're going to keep having this stuff. And maybe Seth Rich is a part of this. Well, he would have been, but unfortunately, the DNC. If you're a friend of the DNC, I suggest you hire yourself a bodyguard. Really. Thanks 0010. Gotta run for the next break, though, my friend.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Well, you know what? It's enough to make you want to drink, folks. Really. Anybody got any scotch?
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Here we are this Tuesday, May number 16 in the year of our Lord 2017. I am, of course, your lovable host, L. Rod, Lightning Rod, Nitro Rod, the Rod of Truth, all those wonderful other Rod acronyms. And I am here for you. Call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. As it is every morning, and this morning is no different. Oh, well, no, it's not any different. I mean, it's actually starting to get kind of boring. Well, you wake up every day, and no, I know some people are saying, how is it possibly getting boring, Rod? You wake up every day, and it's the same thing every day. It's like the movie Groundhog Day. Yeah, but the only thing that changes is the news, lamestream news outlet that is doing the reporting. It's always the same thing. Trump needs to be impeached. Trump went over, is abusing power. Trump's Russian connection. Trump this, Trump did this, and Trump did that, and Trump is this, and Trump is... They continue to pound the drums of abuse of power, but these are what they don't realize, or maybe they do realize, what they don't realize, well, this is typical of the left. They point the finger at somebody else because they are doing or have done what they're accusing everybody else of doing. What they're accusing Donald Trump of doing is exactly what Barack Hussein Obama did. I mean, it's just amazing. It really is amazing. when you start taking this stuff apart. Like, for instance, the wonderful Washington Post, whose motto is "Democracy dies in darkness." As if they are the beacon of light of democracy. The Washington Post is probably one of the publications in this country that is the farthest from the light. I mean, honestly. But here you have the Washington Post. They have a piece that I saw this morning. Trump must be impeached, and here's why. And then they go down the line and try to make their case for why Donald J. Trump needs to be impeached. Now, understand that they've got this small little video section of Bob Woodward, who was part of the Woodward and Bernstein crew that uncovered the Watergate mess. Now, if you saw the full, which I did, if you saw the full-blown interview between Woodward and Bernstein, and when they were asked the question, does what Trump doing now, firing Comey, does that equate to, or is that like Watergate and the so-called Saturday Night Massacre? And Woodward and Bernstein, which the lamestream media is not replaying this over and over and over again because it didn't fulfill what they wanted them to say, Woodward and Bernstein said, hell no. The Saturday Night Massacre and Nixon was far, far, far worse. This is not like that at all, was what they said. And of course, that you know, the lamestream media is so brazen and so blind and so embedded into their own beliefs that when they look, you know, you're not supposed to ask a question that you don't already generally know the answer to. Isn't that what good lawyers tell you? You know, you don't ask a question that you don't know the answer to. All of a sudden lately, these people, these so-called journalists in the lamestream media, they keep asking questions and getting shocked by the answer. Well, the answers are pretty obvious if you ask me. When I hear the question being asked, well, the answer is going to be pretty obvious, and boom, the answer is pretty obvious, but they're shocked by it. And they're shocked because they're such ideologues. They're so locked into this own. This is why I say that these wonderful little minds full of mush in college, they don't come up with this bullshit that they're perpetrating on the people. They don't walk into where is that story? Yeah, I know I got this. By the way, I just had this. I didn't print it out either, so it is not in my paper pile. This morning there was a story about college students walking into an old stately college building and claiming that the building is racist because of its stately masculine paneling. Now, I mean, if you wanted to say it was sexist, I mean, because there are masculine styled rooms and there are feminine styled rooms and there are neutral styled rooms. And if you wanted to say that it was sexist because it was masculine and it wasn't a boys' club, well, guys aren't supposed to have clubs anymore. That's also sexist. Well, I could have a program that goes on just a 3-hour show on that. Why the sexes need their own space. There was a very popular book back in the 90s called, was it Venus and Mars or Mars and Venus? Women were portrayed as being Venus or Venusians, and men were being portrayed as Mars or Martian. And look, we've got TV programs on now that now celebrate the manliness. What do we call it? What do we call these special places now? We call them man caves. Because pretty much, if you're a man and you're married, the entire domicile or house belongs to the woman. It doesn't matter if the woman is out there working or if the woman is a homemaker. It doesn't matter if she works outside the house or inside the house. The domicile of the home is really the purveyance and the kingdom of the female. And that's the way it's been for forever. But men men typically found their spaces where they would go to the country club, or they'd go to the bar, or they'd go to the bowling alley, or they'd go to the cigar club or something like that, right? Those are the man caves, but they were typically and generally outside the house. Well, with the age of the 70s and the age of the 80s and the sexual revolution and the feminizing of men decided, well, I don't have to go anywhere to have a man cave, because we used to have to go. The man caves used to be external. They used to, like I said, they were the bowling alley, they were the bar, they were the golf course, they were the gentleman's club, not the titty bars, the real gentleman's club. Yes, I said that. But you know what I mean. It comes to gentlemen's clubs. But now we're allowed, because of the feminization of the male, men are now allowed to have their space in their own home. Now, generally speaking, these spaces turned out to be the garage or the basement. But they were not considered part of the general footprint of the home. They were some external extra part of the home. Right? Yeah, guys know this. Back in if your man cave was in the basement in your home, what was the first thing you did? Well, you tried to make it look a little bit better. So the first thing you did is you went out and got some dark paneling, because that's what was in all the man caves all over the world. Basically, you go and there were these dark, rich paneled rooms. Whether it's the Gentlemen's Club or the Expedition Club in Britain or someplace like that, where nothing but men gathered, there was these dark, rich wood walls and dark, rich furniture, wooden furniture and leather furniture. And it was, things were what said to be masculine scaled and looking, and big fireplaces and chunky this, and everything was masculine, right? So the first thing that you did, because it was cheap, that you wanted to emulate that look, you threw up some dark paneling. Now, by today's standards, most of that paneling from the 70s and 80s is very cheap, chintzy, crappy, and everybody tears it out when they see it. But that's what went up. Well, evidently, that's what's in one of these college buildings, is this masculine-style paneling. And this paneling is all of a sudden is so affected, these little minds full of mush, these snowflakes, that they're not saying it's just they're not saying it's sexist, they're saying it's racist. I guess black people didn't have rich paneling like that. Well, then they should have told people in my family, because I remember paneling like that in a lot of my uncles and cousins' houses, in their basements. Their man caves. This stuff is. They're twisting everything and making it sound like this is something new that the white man just came up with in order to keep the black man down. But this has been going on for decades. It didn't matter what color you were. If you wanted a man cave, that's what you did. You had this dark paneling, and you probably had it in the basement, or you converted your garage into your man cave, and you didn't usually spend a whole hell of a lot of money on it, because the little woman was going to say, "No, you're not wasting all that money on that. Not when we can decorate this and redo the kitchen." So you went out and you got something. You say, "But honey, it was only $100 for the whole room," and then she'd be okay with it. I'm not being sexist here. That's the way it actually works. That's what actually happened. And if you are married, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But now we have this thing called that the man cave has grown up. There are TV programs about the man cave now, and the man cave shed, and there was even on Tim Allen's show where he was building his wife Vanessa a shed, and he realized that he liked the shed, and he wanted to make the shed. It was supposed to be her woman cave, but he liked the shed so much that he wanted to make it his man cave, and he proceeded to, be a man and try to manipulate it from her. But of course, Vanessa figured it out, and but it was the whole episode was funny based around that, because he wanted a man cave. But so why is this pertinent? Because now the man cave, or the masculine, everything masculine is under assault in this country. You're not supposed to have a male-only club. Somehow that's sexist and against the law and unconstitutional. That is the farthest from the truth. You have the right to assemble with people whom you want to assemble with. Your right to assembly. If you want to go outside your home and not be associated with women, that's perfectly. And as a matter of fact, that's even preferable. And women should applaud that. Why? Because there's less where are you going to send your guy to? You're going to let your guy go out to the bar where there are other loose women? Or do you want to send him to the gentleman's club where there are no women allowed? Oh, if I was the wife or the fiance or girlfriend, I'd say go to the gentleman's club where there are no women allowed. No chance for him to get in trouble there, right? You let him go to the bar where all kinds of loose women are at, and same, reverse it. If you're a guy, I'd want the quote unquote little woman to go to an all women's club, not go to the local bar where there are guys that are going to be on the prowl trying to hook up with them. Yeah, let's be, but we don't think it. Why don't we think of that kind of thing? Because all we're told is that it's bad. It's just sexist if you want to be separate. But sometimes separation is just perfect. We're told that, hey, you want a man cave? Well, that's just sexist. No, BS, it's sexist. We all need our own space. We all need to hang out with people that we only want to hang out with. And we shouldn't be forced to feel bad about it. You want to hang out with the guys? Why would you be made feel bad about it by some liberal nut job who thinks that you're a sexist because you only want to hang out with other guys? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But you're supposed to. No, you need to hang out with other girls, man. You need to feminize yourself. Why do you hate girls so much you don't want to hang out with them? Because they're not like guys. We're different. Okay? Plain and simple. I mean, most women don't want to hang out with guys if they have a choice. So, but that's, the woman goes to, the women's book club and all that kind of stuff. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But, so now we have this, we've got paneling, traditionally recognized as being something masculine, and that's now not sexist anymore. Now it's just, masculinity is now being referred to as being racist. Now, who do you think? Do you think that these minds full of mush actually walk into a hallway or a building, see the quote-unquote masculine paneling on the walls, and automatically think, oh, this building's racist? No, they have to be told and taught that BS. This kind of crap is coming from the top. And then these minds full of mush, they just run around, repeat what they think that they heard. And then the mainstream media picks it up and says, see, look. White privilege in this building because the paneling is masculine. And we're supposed to buy this crap?
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Hi, Gordon. What you been up to?
Big things, Fred. I'm a full-time student at bartending college.
Wow. I never had time for a formal education.
Well, I decided to make time, but it's not easy. Bartending college is a 4-week course.
Gee, how far along are you?
Well, let's see. This is Tuesday, the 3rd week. Hey, I'm a junior, and I'm late for a daiquiri lecture. Why don't you join me?
Why not?
Bartending college.
You've already spent enough time on the other side of the bar to qualify for enrollment.
Bartending college.
We'll teach you everything you need to know. You'll get a starter set of bartenders' jokes like...
So I said to the guy, you can stay, but the cow's gotta go.
Bartending college.
You'll learn how to roll drunks, water the liquor, and skim the cash register. And remember, as the bartender, you drink for free.
Last call.
For integrity.
Okay, see, I knew I wasn't crazy, and I knew I wasn't making this up. So during the break, I went and, because it wasn't something I was originally going to bring to you, but so I went and searched for it, and I found the story. But this is not where I found the original story, but here it is being reported in the Blaze. Minority students reportedly feel marginalized over imposing and masculine wood paneling in a historic building on the University of Michigan campus. This was actually originally reported by the College Fix yesterday. Anna Wibbelman, Wibbelman, former president of Building a Better Michigan, an organization that gives students a voice in university development, said during a March student government meeting about the scheduled renovations that minority students felt marginalized by quiet, imposing masculine paneling of the Michigan Union building, which is utilized for student orientations and events. The 100-year-old building was set to undergo an $85 million renovation to completely redesign the feel of the building. But campus spokesman Rick Fitzgerald told the College Fix that the concern about the paneling is not something that has been brought forward to the university as a concern from students who have been involved with developing this project for several years and through dozens of meetings. Fitzgerald also insists that despite major renovations to the building, most if not all of the wood paneling will remain after the renovation. Now, Jazz Teeste, T-E-S-T-E, the current president of Building a Better Michigan, backed up Fitzgerald's comments said it was likely that Wibbelman's report was an offhand comment about how students felt marginalized by the quiet nature of the building when they entered. Now, they're feeling marginalized by the paneling on the walls and the quiet nature. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. What's the Joe Pesci's character in Lethal Weapon? Okay. They feel marginalized by the quiet nature of a building. They feel marginalized. In other words, marginalized is another word for they feel racism in the paneling of a college building because the paneling is too masculine. So now racism is masculine. Well, of course, that fits in with, white male privilege. White males are the only people on the planet that can be discriminated against because you're the cause for all the evil in the world. But they feel marginalized by the quiet nature of the paneling in an old building. They feel racism in this paneling in an old building in Michigan, of all places. Michigan. We're not talking the Deep South. We're talking Michigan. They feel racism on the walls and the paneling in Michigan because it has a quiet sense about it. Well, if that's the case, then there's a problem. because that means that every time these particular students walk into a library, and a library is quiet, right? Every time they walk into a library, a building of knowledge, a repository of knowledge, they're going to get a quiet sense, which means they're going to feel racism against them. Knowledge itself is now going to be construed as racism. Don't doubt me. Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
603-835-3226. That is the call-in. Call-in number. Yeah. Go, baby. Yeah. Again, also reminds me of Lethal Weapon. Oh, baby. Yo, baby. Whoa, baby. You guys cracked me up over there in the chat room, let me tell you. Yeah, I got off and... Stop distracting me. Stop distracting me with all this wonderful information. By the way, the goal of the renovation is to restore and reactivate the Michigan Union while maintaining its history fabric and reasserting its role as a vibrant social hub and locus of inclusivity, innovation, activism, and involvement. That is that is the mission of the better building a better Michigan group. Let me. This is the goal of the renovation of this building, the Michigan Union building. This is the goal of it. Let me reread to you what their stated mission is, their stated goal. The goal of the renovation of the Michigan Union building is to, and I quote, restore and reactivate the Michigan Union while maintaining its history fabric and reasserting its role as a vibrant social hub and locus, LOCUS, of inclusivity, innovation, activism, and involvement, unquote. Yeah. So whatever the hell that meant, that's what their mission is. And evidently the current paneling that they want to leave up does not fit that that mission of inclusivity. I'm sorry, folks. I cannot help but laugh at these people. I'm laughing my tuchus off because of the stupidity of them. Really, I'm not laughing with you. If you're a liberal listening to this, I'm not laughing with you. I'm laughing at you. And this kind of BS is exactly why you're losing election after election, because the average everyday person is seeing this and hearing this and reading this and thinking, you've lost your freaking mind. First, they're going to ask the question, well, what the hell does that exactly mean? And second, they're going to think, you've lost your freaking mind. There's no racism or exclusivity in paneling. Because many people will think, I got that paneling in my basement. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, you got to understand that the average American today does not view themselves as being racist. They don't view themselves as being sexist. But you people on the left, you attack the regular, everyday, middle-of-the-road, middle America voter on a daily basis. They look at you and think that you're absolutely out of your mind because they don't view themselves the way you view them, because they have all that stuff in their house and they think that they're open. And, and of course, they'll, a lot of them will come back and say, well, look, I can't be racist. My wife or my husband or my daughter or my son or my, is dating a person of color. And we love that person of color. We think it's great and they're wonderful people. So they don't view them. And we know this, that there are a number of mixed race, if you will, couplings across it's just how many people are dating out. It's been story after story about how many people are dating outside their racial lines or racial color or ethnic coloring. And it's just this is a country that is becoming a true melting pot because of it. And most families don't have a problem with their kids or their relative dating somebody outside of their ethnic background. Usually the people that have the problem, for instance, are not well, let me just say this. When it comes to this sort of thing, now obviously this is not always the case, but usually when there's a problem, it's not a problem anymore of, say, the white family having a problem with the white son dating a black daughter, a black girl. No, it's usually the black family having the problem that the black daughter is dating a white boy. That's where the problem is. So it's not usually it's coming from the non-colored side. And this is what most middle America is now, made up of these kind of people. They don't, it might be a little bit of a shock because they don't expect it at first. I get that. You don't expect your kid to grow up and be attracted to somebody outside of their ethnic background at first because you don't even think about it. And this is, and then when it happens, somebody comes home, they said, hey, this is Aniqua, Dad. And Dad looks at her, oh. And usually that's the end of it. I mean, Aniqua could be Latino or Asian. It doesn't have to be black. And the same reaction is going to happen. There's nothing wrong with that first initial reaction. It's like, oh, hi, welcome to the family. That's usually the reaction now. Because, again, you don't even think about it. That's why it's a shock at first for just about everybody. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just, but after the initial shock, because you're not expecting it, because we all live in our own little worlds. And our own little worlds, for the most part, are colored by our own little thoughts of what we expect our own little world to be. And anything that comes outside of our own little world is a little bit shocking at first. It doesn't mean it's unacceptable to us. It's just we didn't expect it because it's not a part of our world. And then it becomes a part of our world, and it's no longer shocking. So say white son breaks up with black girl and then brings home Latino girl as his new girlfriend. Now it's not a shock because now Dad's world has been opened up and has become more inclusive where he didn't even think about it before. So I mean, that's just the way it works. It's just natural. It's a natural human thing, and that's the reality of it. It's not racism, and most people across this country do not view themselves as being racist. And you directly attack these people, and you wonder why they don't like you. You talk about this type of paneling is racist, and it has a quiet sense of marginalism to it, marginalizing ethnic people, and the person looks at it and says, I have that in my basement, or it's in my den, or my home office, or something. They have it. They have that paneling. They have that coloring. And they look at it, what? You're saying I'm a racist now because I have this paneling? They're going to reject it. They're going to reject that notion because they don't view themselves as being racist. They view themselves as being really open, and most of them really are open-minded and open, whatever you want to call open-minded, they really are, and they don't think that way about being in a racist way, and they definitely didn't think that when they got the damn paneling. They just liked the way it looked. And so you're attacking them on that, and they're going to say, oh, hell no, I ain't putting up with that. I ain't voting your butts into office. You got to be kidding me. You're calling me a racist because I got some certain kind of paneling that I didn't even think about. I just happened to look at it and say, yeah, I want that paneling in my... I'm sure most people, when they go to the home center or they have a designer come to their house or their office and they show them all these different looks and they say, yes, I want that look because it makes me seem superior to black people because I'm a white guy. I am sure that is exactly what they thought when they decided on the decor of their man cave. It's total and complete and utter bullshit. I don't know how else to put it. It's how ridiculous it is. It's just ridiculous. or it's one of my new favorite words. It's redonkulous, or it's redonk. Not even, well, I've heard ridic, but no, I'm not even going to, I'm not, for obvious reasons, I don't want to say that. So I just say redonk. Can I say redonk? Well, these kids today, they try to shorten up words and they end up being something I think I'm going to have to do come up with, anybody like George Carlin out there? There's going to have to be a new series of 7 words that you can't say on the radio or TV. Because, you can say almost all the forbidden words that George Carlin once said, almost all of them. You can't say the F-bomb. But just about everything else. I mean, anything with the F-bomb in it, you can't say still. But you can say, I'm not even, what the 7 words are. You can say the others. As long as they don't have the F-bomb in there, you can say the others on TV. And I've actually heard them on primetime TV. So I think I've even heard a couple of them in daytime soap operas. So you can say them. Now, they used to be taboo, but not anymore. Hell, like the word hell. Well, they're all over the radio now, too. You turn on the radio, and people are saying the word ass and damn and hell. And the S word. When I say bullshit, they just say shit. I hear it on the radio. I don't know. Maybe New England is very progressive when it comes to that, and it's not where you are. But they say it on the radio here, and nobody gets in trouble for it. I'm talking real radio, terrestrial radio, like 94.5 FM and 1080, AM. Those types of radio stations, the real radio station. Yeah, I've heard those words on the air. Nobody gets in trouble, which is why I don't, if it slips out of my mouth every once in a while, I'm not going to be worried about it because they're saying it on the air. Like I said, the only ones are that you don't hear on the airwaves. Well, I don't know. Some people have told me that they've heard the C word, that descriptive word for women that you don't like. Now, outside of a movie, I don't think I've heard it on TV. And we haven't gotten the F-bombs yet on TV. In any format. Those are probably coming. I wouldn't doubt it. Those are well. So, back on to before we were diverted by the College Fixes story on being marginalized, we have this story about why the president needs to be impeached from the Washington Post. So the Washington Post says the country is now faced with a president whose conduct strongly suggests that he poses a danger to our system of government. Oh, by restoring it to its constitutional levels? That's a danger to our system? No, that's a danger to your system, not to the constitutional American system. Ample reasons exist to worry about this president and to ponder the extraordinary remedy of impeachment. Even before he fired FBI Director James B. Comey and shockingly admitted on national television that the action was provoked by the FBI's intensifying investigation. No, he did not. He did not do that on national TV. He did not admit that, well, yeah, I'm firing him because he's looking into me. And what he said is that he asked Comey, and on 3 different occasions, Comey told him that he directly was not being investigated. So how could he possibly be firing Comey because he was being investigated? Comey told him he was not being investigated. So that's why this whole article from the WAPO is a lie. It's fake news. The president admitted shockingly on TV that his action because of the FBI intensifying investigation into his campaign ties with Russia. When Comey told him, no, we're not investigating you. So it had nothing to do with the campaign ties directly to Trump. So how is that admitting that that's why he fired him? It's not, because it's fake news. That's why. It's just beyond the pale here. I don't know. Maybe they are really living in a different dimension. Maybe they really are. Maybe there really is such a thing as like the TV show Sliders. And these people are able to phase in and out of our dimension into another dimension. And in their dimension, Trump really is a bad guy. And when they write their stories, they're back in this dimension. So we don't know the reality in that alternate dimension. All we know is the reality in this dimension. So we read this and think, oh my goodness, these people are off their rockers. They have no idea what they're talking about. Either that, or we rightfully suspect, well, the reason why they're saying all this is to cover up the fact that that's exactly what Obama did and what Hillary Clinton tried to do. Always pay attention to the left, what they accuse the right of doing, because that means that they're most likely doing exactly what they're accusing others of doing.
The Red Cross response.
That's always been the case. Always, always, always.
July is National Baked Bean Month. Excuse me. Yes, a month in which we pay tribute to one of America's favorite, most healthful, and nutritious foods. I'm terribly sorry. As I was saying, good Lord, this is terribly embarrassing. I'm so... Whoa, doggy! I guess I'd better wrap this up quick. Basically, Jesus, whoa! Oh, God! My God!
Baked beans. They're nature's way of saying, for God's sake, open a window. Sorry.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
I wonder why the WAPO isn't writing an article about Hillary Clinton and her desire to not be able to stay out of the limelight, the political limelight. I mean, she's just got to be in there all the time, right? She can't go away. And Hillary Clinton launches Unlimited Dark Money Group. Oh, yeah. Here's a story. Two-time failed presidential candidate Hillary Rodham Clinton officially launched a new organization yesterday. The new PAC is called Onward Together, with the stated goal of advancing the vision that earned nearly 66 million votes in the last election. Obviously not enough to make her win. Not to mention, did she not only win, but Democrats can't seem to win on this vision either. Put more bluntly, the group's mission is to advance Clinton's agenda, which was unable to defeat Donald Trump, of course. But buried on the donation page of this group is this wonderful little nugget. Contribution or gifts to Onward Together, a 501c4 organization, are not tax deductible as charitable contributions or as a business deduction. Here are some contribution rules listed on the site. Contributions or gifts to Onward Together, a 501c4 organization, are not tax deductible as charitable contributions or as business deductions. It is if this contribution is from an individual, you are a U.S. citizen or lawfully admitted permanent resident of the United States. By contributing, you agree to become a member of Onward Together. And by listing itself as a 501c4, Clinton is able to take so-called dark money or from money from donors who legally do not have to be disclosed in unlimited amounts, which means the Clinton money laundering organization is back in order. By the way, in other news, Apple is reporting that it has over $250 billion in cash sheltered overseas right now, sitting offshore. At 35%, do you want to bring in $250 billion at 35%, plus whatever your state income tax is? So in other words, they would lose almost half of it. If they brought $250 billion back on shore, they lose $100 billion of it in taxes. Would you do that? No, you wouldn't do that. You'd keep it offshore. You just let it build, and someday you're gonna. You know who's the cause? Who's the root cause of corporatism? Democrats. The Democrats are making it possible for international conglomerates to gather so much cash, but that eventually they're going to have so much that they'll be able to buy anything or anyone that they want, because they do not spur innovation or investment. They just spur hoarding. And one day there's just going to be so much sitting there that somebody's going to say, "Well, geez, we got to spend it. Well, let's go on a buying spree. Let's buy countries." Look, you can already buy towns in this country, right? And in other European countries, you can buy towns, whole towns. Well, no, you can't buy the people. Well, I'm sure the Clintons will probably try to buy the people. You know, if the Clintons are going in there, the Clintons are going to try to buy people and the town. That's what their new dark money 501 non-charitable charity is all about. Don't doubt me on that one, folks.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin, I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow, they pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And here we are. Yes, hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show already. It is May number 16 in the year of our Lord 2017 as we continue on. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, it seems like the program gets progressively faster. I mean, the first hour is fast, the second hour is even faster, and the third hour just whizzes by. I mean, just zoom, gone. And that's the way it's always been. I don't mind it. Love it. Means I'm having fun. I'm delivering, even though when I sound like I'm totally and completely and frustrated and irritated. By the way, I am. I'm not an actor. If you hear a level of irritation and frustration in my voice, it's because it's genuine even. Anybody remember Genuine? That in the song, My Pony? I used to love that song. I know what this song was about. It's a dirty song. But it's got a great beat, man. You could dance to it. I mean, vertically, not horizontal. Well, I suppose you could horizontally dance to it too. If you've got kids listening to this, I'm sorry that you're going to have to explain to them what horizontal dancing is. Look, I've always said that this program is PG-13. It's not G. Well, it is. It's not explicit, but it is PG-13. Do you remember the days back in the day when there were only, 4 ratings? There was G, PG, R, and X, right? That was it. And we got all these really weird ones. In the 90s that they came out? We had G, we had PG, PG-13, and we had R and NC-17 and X. We got these other really weird ones in there. And then we started getting all of these really weird ratings for other things. The game rating, the video game rating system. I still don't understand those. Well, I don't play video games that often, but I still don't understand. And then you've got there's others. There's apps. There's an app system, rating system. There's a TV rating system now. of, and the flashes on the bottom left-hand corner usually of just about every program is, what is this, TV 17 or TV 13 you gotta do research and figure out what all these stupid ratings are. And who are these committees that decide what the rating is, and how much power do they really have? I mean, seriously, who are these? Do these people sit and just like the movie system? Does a committee of 7 people I don't know how many people are on this committee or board that decides this stuff, but let's just say there's 7. Do they sit around and watch movies all day long, new movies all day long? Do they get to watch these movies for free just so they can rate them? Do they watch the whole thing, or do they only watch certain parts? What parts do they watch? How long must they watch each movie in order to determine the rating system? Do they only read the script? I don't know how they come up with these rating systems. I don't know who it is or what they do. I want that job. I want to be a member of the TV or movie rating system. I want that. It's got to be a cushy job. I bet you they make 6 figures. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know who these people are. I don't even know how you get the job. I don't even know. Do they ever advertise that? Wanted. Former movie critic to be a movie rater. You got to wonder who pays for this stuff. Well, ultimately, the consumer and taxpayer pays for everything. But generally speaking, who's paying for it now? Well, the movie industry pays for why would they pay for a rating system so the government doesn't do it? Well, if the government came in and did it, well, who would the government pay? Would the government pay for a rating? I claim I am ignorant. Yes, I say ignorant when it comes to, thanks to Medea, I'm ignorant when it comes to who, how, and why we have this stupid various rating systems. I don't know I'd never bothered looking into it. It just comes to mind every once in a while, like so many other things that come to my mind that I have questions about. And I'm sure that someday I'll probably do an entire expose on the rating systems, plural now, since we no longer have just one. We have multiple. And who pays for them, who's getting paid, how much they get paid, and if you can, get yourself a job in one of these industries like that. I mean, I would. Why not? I want one of those cushy. It's got to be a cushy job. Can you imagine? You sit down for 8 hours a day, eating popcorn and watching movies. Never the same movie twice, either. No reruns. Imagine that. A different movie every. I know you got. There's probably a point where you got to sit through some bad movies and some boring movies, but that's okay because you're going to also see all the good ones too. You get to see the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Star Wars movies or do you just assume? Do they just assume because the last one was PG-13 that the new one's going to be PG-13 too? Do they have industries specific? Are there people that rate, like just dramas and people who rate science fiction and people who are they different? I don't know. I don't know how many people are on these boards. And now look, you're probably thinking, well, what difference does it make? Because these people affect how we live our daily life. Do you realize that? All of these various committees out there that put ratings and stuff on stuff that we view or utilize on a daily basis, they affect us every day. And we don't even know who they are or why they are. And we don't know if we should trust them because we don't know anything about them. But yet they're the ones dictating by the force of law and regulation who gets to go to a movie. Do you realize that? Look, you can't take your kid to an NC-17 movie, but you can rent the DVD and then bring it home, and your kid can watch it at home. But if you can watch it at home, why can't they watch it at the movie theater? Somebody just dictated to you that you can't take your kid to a movie theater. I mean, really? In this day and age when everything goes to DVD or to streaming, within like 3 months, just about everything, when it's either streaming or DVD within 3 months of its initial theatrical release, are the rating systems any good anymore? Do they really mean anything? Why do we still have them? I mean, you can't drop off your 12-year-old kid at a PG-13 movie and let them get, because they won't get in without you. But I remember I was trying to take a friend of mine. He was not 17. I was 18. He wasn't 17. We were going to an R-rated movie. I couldn't bring him in because I had to be his guardian. Like, okay, well, what if his parents came and said, no, his parents have to go into the movie? Like, wait, what? His parent can't come in here and say, yeah, I'm paying for the ticket. He's going to go see the movie. No, the parent has to go into the movie. Are you kidding? Well, are you kidding me? We were high school friends. Actually, I was dating his sister at the time, too. So I was taking him to. I can't remember. I think it was a James Bond movie. We were going to go see. But I couldn't take him in. Look, you got to be kidding me. And his parent couldn't even bring. Parent had to go see the movie. Oh, that's kind of stupid. So again, these people, they affect your life. But you can watch. Look, hey, in about a year, at that time, it took about a year for a movie to go from theater to video, VHS. So I could rent the stupid video for $4 at the video rental store, bring it home, and anybody could watch it. But we couldn't go into the theater. I mean, just how dumb is that? How antiquated is that? This is the kind of stuff that doesn't make any sense anymore. Because it doesn't. It has no real effect in the end. It just delays things, maybe, but because do you really pay attention to any of the rating systems? Do you pay attention to your kids have video games? When you buy a video game for your kid, do you really pay attention to the video game rating system and decide, well, no, this is like, I don't know, MC-17, mature, I don't know what any of the video ratings are, but let's say it's suggested for people over 17, and your kid's 13. Are you still going to get them the video? Like Halo or so? Yeah. Are you really paying attention to the... I mean, I know all this stuff is Al Gore's ex-wife's doing. All these extra rating crap and things. She got involved in this stuff back in the 90s, and we need to protect our children. All this extra rating stuff you could... Well, I mean, the movie rating system was there. The G, PG, and R and X was there before Al Gore's wife. But after Al Gore's wife, we got all this extra stuff. We got the I think that's when we got the PG-13 and NC-17. And I think that's also when we started to get the game rating system, and now, which has led to the app rating system and all the other rating systems. It was all due to Al Gore's wife. Just saying. I mean, really, does any of that stuff really matter nowadays? When everything is downloadable and tradable and, streamable. I had to look. Well, Game of Thrones, for instance. How many times have there been nude people, male and female, in Game of Thrones? It's not X-rated. Well, I guess it's not pornography, I suppose. I mean, if that were in a movie theater, I think that would be construed as NC-17, right? But hey, you can watch it on Showtime and HBO, no problem. Well, you can have parental locks on it. Is there any parent out there that really utilizes the very, I tried that stuff, the very complicated parental locking system and codes on cable TV? Does any parent do that? If you do, call me up. Tell me how you utilize it. Because I've seen it. We tried it once, and we just said, we said, oh, the hell with this. There's no way that they're gonna not watch it. If they want to, if our kid, if you have kids and they're gonna want to watch something, you just say, if our kids want to watch something, they're gonna be able to watch it. If you're a parent that thinks that you can keep your kid from watching something, unless your kids are stay-at-home kids 24/7, never go anywhere and have no friends outside, you're fooling yourselves if you think that they're not going to see something that you tell them that you don't want them to see. They're going to watch it. Because that's why we have friends that are the same. Oh, that's a bunch of baloney too. Because your kids get to go to the library, they go to school, they go wherever they go, outside of your house, they're going to see it. They're going to be exposed to it. And I know there are parents say, well, we don't have to contribute to it. We're not going to contribute. Well, in a way, you actually are, because everybody else is seeing it, and the peer pressure is just so enormous a lot of times, and most kids do not have the ability to withstand peer pressure. I don't care what you think about little Johnny and little Susie. The kids that are like me, I did not give in to peer pressure. We were the huge minority. Kids usually, I know what peer pressure feels like. I've dealt with it. And I wouldn't say that I was 100% successful in resist. There were times that I gave into it. It was rare, but I gave into it. Every kid does. The kid that's able to stand on his own at least half the time is rare. Really is. So if you think that your kid is, well, my kid can resist peer pressure, you're an idiot for a parent. I'm just telling you the truth. Think about your days and be honest with yourself when you were a kid. Now, you probably view yourself as being a very strong-willed person today, but were you when you were that age, if you were 13 or in high school or in middle school, were you a strong-willed? No, you were probably a geeky dork, and you gave in just about to anything. And you think your kids are going to be different? Please. The first thing you have to do is be honest with yourself. That's the main thing. Be honest with that you're human and that your kids are human. Your kids are not really all that special. I know you've probably been brought up and told that you're special and your kids are special, but frankly, you're not. I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not. And neither are your kids. You may have a smart kid there. He may be smarter than most of the rest of the kids of his age, but he's not special. They're not. They're going to give in to peer pressure just like anybody else. Just saying. Just trying to be... Public service announcement from the Rod Eccles Show today.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there.
What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
603-835-3226. Yeah, that is still the number that you can call this morning, if you so desire. Barack Obama is back in the news. Yeah, I know. You probably wouldn't want him in the news. I just want him to go away, too. But here it is from Newsmax. Obama says that it took political courage not to bomb Syria. Yeah, let me repeat. Let me repeat that. These leftists, they're funny people. They're very comedic. It took political courage not to bomb Syria. Not to bomb Syria. Former President Barack Obama said it took political courage. Courage. You know, what is it? The lion from Wizard of Oz? Courage. It took political courage not to bomb Syria after he had warned Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to discontinue using chemical weapons against his own people. Threatening doing so would be crossing a red line. This after the fact that the Trump administration comes out and says, well, we've got evidence here that shows that Assad is utilizing a crematorium in Syria to get rid of the bodies of all its executionaries. You know, in other words, the people that they execute. So we don't see the bodies piling up. So they're just cremating them all and scattering their ashes in the desert. They better be careful. He could end up with, things like the Mummy, like in the Mummy. By the way, did they remade them? I'm digressing, but I guess it's a new reboot, Mummy reboot, whatever. It's got Tom Cruise in it. Not going to see it. Sorry. Ugh. Anyway. Why is it? Can he go away too? He's ruining potentially good movies. Really? Can Tom Cruise go the way of Brad Pitt now? I mean, seriously, Brad is waning. Brad Pitt, you don't see Brad Pitt. I've seen pictures that he looks terrible. I wouldn't say he looks terrible. He's starting to look. He's really looking his age. That doesn't happen in Hollywood. I mean, what? George Clooney's almost 60. He doesn't look almost 60. Brad Pitt does. I guess Angelina Jolie, the breakup with Angelina Jolie really took him for a loop, I guess. I don't know. I don't think we care. But in any case, so we have the president here who's now out there talking about giving interviews, and he's talking about that it took political courage not to bomb somebody after you threaten you're going to bomb them, and you draw a line in the sand and say, hey, Assad, you cross this line, man. You do that, and I'm telling you, you're going to be in trouble. We're going to bomb you. And then he crosses the line, and the president sits there and says, oh, man, I got to bomb him now because I said I was going to bomb him. It's going to take some courage not to bomb him. So I'm going to go the courageous route and not take him out. Are we supposed to buy that line of BS? Obama talked about a strategy with the Syrian regime while president in an interview last week with Jack Schlossberg. SCHLOSSBERG. Everybody knows who that is. Before receiving the John F. Kennedy Profiles in Courage Award. Schlossberg is a grandson of former President John F. Kennedy and a member of the John F. Kennedy Profile in Courage Award. Caroline Kennedy Schlossberg is his mommy. And, so they gave him an award for courage, for not... You threaten somebody that you're going to do violence on them, and then you don't do violence on them, and that is a symbol of courage.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Bring the rain.
Democrats out there think that they have got a winning strategy. But, first of all, let me just... I know some people are thinking, why are you picking on Brad Pitt, Rod? No, I don't dislike Brad Pitt. No, well, let me put it this way. I actually like Brad Pitt. I think he's a decent actor. I mean, I'm not going to go to a movie simply because he's the headliner. I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying I like him that much. I would used to go to a movie strictly because Will Smith was the headliner. Now, not because I thought Will Smith was some great actor or he was absolutely gorgeous. I just like him. I like the stuff that I haven't seen. I haven't seen all movies that Will Smith has made, but every movie thus far that I've seen that Will Smith has been in, I've liked it. I've been thoroughly entertained. So if it's a movie with Will Smith, I'm more likely to go see it simply because he's in it. No, I didn't see, what was it, the After Earth thing with his son, Jay? I didn't see that. It didn't, when I saw the previews, I thought, oh, this is probably going to suck. So I still haven't seen it. I want to keep that perfect score alive for Will Smith's sake. Because I'm a fan of Will Smith. I like his stuff. Not that he's not actually a great actor, but then that's not the reason why I entertain. But I like Brad Pitt. I like a lot of the stuff that I've seen him in. Again, I'm not just because he's a headliner, I'm not going to go see it. I've seen Ocean's 11. I didn't see Ocean's 12 or Ocean's 13, but I liked him in Ocean's 11. I did. I liked Ocean's. I know it was a remake of the 60s classic with some of the Rat Pack, but I liked him in that remake, in that reboot. It was good. And Brad Pitt is actually a decent actor. He's one of the better American male actors that we got. And he isn't, I know his political leanings. You see him sometimes talking about political stuff when he's down in New Orleans and stuff. He's left-leaning. I'm pretty sure that his wife has dragged him ex-wife now, has dragged Angelina Jolie, has dragged him even farther to the left. So you might think that on his personal life, he might be a little bit of a wackadoodle on the left, but you don't hear that much from him. He does what my entertainers do. They usually keep their mouths shut and don't try to preach to me about crap. Which is why I like him. And during his middle years, I always, everybody thought, all the women used to go gaga over Brad Pitt back when he was in his 20s. I always thought he looked kind of dorky when he was in his 20s. Really, I didn't. But as he, I thought he got better looking. He wasn't a bad looking guy in his 30s and 40s. And I don't think he's so bad looking now. He's just looking older. I think that he's I don't know what he's doing. I don't really care what he's doing in his personal life. I think isn't he in another movie coming out soon or something? I don't like I said, I don't keep tabs on these people. I just don't. There's nobody that I'm that enamored with them and keep tabs on. But there aren't really a lot of stars that I would go see just about anything they do simply because they're in it. There are stars that I refuse to go see because they're in it. Everybody knows my dislike for Tom Cruise. I don't care how good the movie looks. I will not go to a Tom Cruise movie. I will not spend my money to go to a Tom Cruise movie because usually he ruins the movie, in my book. Now there are a lot of people obviously that like Tom Cruise, evidently, because he's, and I didn't see the last Jason Bourne movie because Matt Damon just ruins it for me now. He's such a nut job. Again, he's not a bad actor. He's a decent actor. But now all I can see when I don't see I see a hypocrite. He plays Jason Bourne, who's a death-delivering, gun-wielding, special forces type of, specially trained type of person, and he's against all that stuff in his real life. I mean, talk about a hypocrite. It's kind of like what's his name? The Taken movie star. Why can't I remember his name? He's got a very unique, deep voice. I actually like his voice. Come on, super fans out there, help me out. Why am I not thinking that? Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. I won't go see any of his movies either. I did not see the last Taken movie because, again, highly hypocritical. He thinks that that nobody should have should have a gun. Liam Neeson, thank you very much, Dom, superfan Dom. Liam Neeson, he was out there advocating for massive gun restriction and confiscation in this country, yet he runs around making all these movies with guns in them. Hey, why am I going to support a guy like that? And again, he was rather entertaining. It's just those people they get to a point, if they don't, I guess it's better that they open their mouths and let us know exactly who they really are than to keep their mouth shut and not tell us. But yeah, it's Will Smith. I've always begged Will Smith to shut his mouth. Don't talk, Will. Don't say it. Don't say it. Please, Will, don't say it. And of course, he opens his mouth, and I get closer and closer to saying, well, Will Smith's on that Nazi list. I'd be crushed on that one. I really would. I'm not going to lie. I'd be crushed. Because again, although I haven't seen every single movie he's made, but every movie that I have seen Will Smith in, I have liked. I have been entertained by. So I would be crushed if I could not go to a Will Smith movie. I would be. I was kind of disappointed in Matt Damon and Liam Neeson, too, to tell you the truth, because they've made movies that I was thoroughly entertained by. But now that I know where they're standing and what they're using their own personal fortune on, why am I going to contribute to somebody who's actively going to... I mean, this is one thing I don't get. You're going to actively support causes that a majority or a large portion of your fan base does not agree with. Tom Cruise, it doesn't matter. Tom Cruise is he's just an idiot. He's a nut job. He can act. He's a terrible actor. And I can't buy anything that the characters that... Yeah. I think the last Tom Cruise movie I saw was The Last Samurai. And actually, that would have been a great movie if somebody else was cast in the Cruise role. He ruined it. I'm sorry, but he did. And it's same with the Mission Impossible. The mission I saw Mission Impossible 1 and 2, I think 3. Anything after that, I'm not interested. Because he ruined the Mission Impossible movies for me. He really did. What was he? Ian was his name? Ethan? Ian? Whatever. And now... Because Tom Cruise is just a terrible actor. I mean, at least Matt Damon was a halfway decent actor, but then he started opening his mouth, and now I can't see Jason Bourne through his eyes anymore because he's Jason Bourne. It doesn't work anymore. So I haven't seen... There was another one recently, right? I haven't seen the last one. Maybe... Well, maybe being a movie rater, whoever rates the movies, maybe that wouldn't be well, at least I wouldn't have to pay for them, would I? I'd get to see them for free. And yes, there is this. I have this story here now that superfan Dom is bringing that up, right here in my currently cigar nicotine-stained fingers, about hackers. The hackers getting a hold of certain movies, and they're threatening to release some movies that they've gotten. I guess they've hacked and gotten like. Disney is one of the big studios that they supposedly have gotten some Disney movies of, and unless Disney pays a ransom, they're going to release, like 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there of some of the big movie releases, and Disney is saying, go ahead, we're going to catch you, find you, probably skin you alive. But Disney isn't falling. That's a good thing. They shouldn't. They shouldn't fall, because if they pay for it once, it means that they're going to be a target from now on. But they're saying, you know what? People are still going to go to the big screen to see it. But here's a suggestion for movie studios. Until you are ready to distribute your films, because I know everything is electronic now, everything's digital. You store it on a system that is not connected to the internet or to the cloud. That way it can't be hacked. Somebody's going to have to purposefully upload it. That's the way you have to do it. That's the way you have to do it. I would do that. I would say, we're going to have servers we're going to have online servers and offline servers, and we're going to have all our stuff on offline servers as a backup. And if it's not released yet, it's not going to be on an online server anywhere. That would stop some of this stuff. And everybody, look, I have a computer here that's offline. I put stuff on computer, and it's not that difficult to transfer files, especially with flash cards or you go to the store and you pick up a flash drive for like $5 and it holds like an immense amount of data. You just transfer it if you're going to put it on, if you need to go somewhere online. You don't need to have everything connected online. If you have more than one computer, why would you? You should have. If you got more than one computer, and by today's standards, having more than one computer is not far fetched. If you've got more than one computer, one of them should be offline. Really, should be. That's where you keep all your really important stuff. And if you need to back it up, then you just transfer it to a flash drive, and there you go. It's not hard. But Rod, it's a pain in the butt. It takes all of 30 seconds. If you want your stuff super secure, then don't put it online. Don't have it accessible by online. My real important data is not connected to online. It's not. Well, you could lose your stuff, Rod. That's why you back the. Then anybody can hack it and take it. Does it just like these idiots who are out there hacking stuff? They can hold it prisoner and force you to use. I still don't understand Bitcoin, so I sure as hell wouldn't use it. But But Bitcoin makes it nearly impossible to trace where it's going. I get why they're using Bitcoin because it makes it nearly impossible to trace. But I don't know how. I get how you buy Bitcoin. You take real world money and you put it in the Bitcoin universe, but I don't know how you get it out. I guess you can. I don't know how that works. I don't know who's going to do it, but like I said, I don't understand the whole Bitcoin thing. So I wouldn't utilize it, and I wouldn't pay any ransom via Bitcoin either. It's not. People like to think Bitcoin is more widely accepted than it is. It's really not, folks. It's really not. I know that there is a small but growing community offline merchants that accept Bitcoin as a form of payment, but I don't know how it works, and it's not that many. It's really not. It's not growing as fast as people would have you believe. Bitcoin is not really growing because nobody understands it. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. Very few people understand it. I'm one of those people that don't understand it, so I'm not going to get involved in something that I don't understand. And I just don't have the time to try to go in, because I hear people try to explain it to me, and I'm like, I'm really not interested. That's the problem. I'm not interested in it, frankly. But anyway. McClatchy has a story here. Obama-linked group to target vulnerable House Republicans. Yes, a progressive organization is launching a new campaign to pressure GOP lawmakers in districts where President Trump performed the worst. An undertaking it hopes will channel grassroots energy against endangered Republican incumbents. Now, frankly, these Republican incumbents would only be in danger if they don't get their asses in gear and do what the American people want and put them in and elected them to do, like repealing Obamacare and reducing taxes and reducing government regulation. Those are the big three things. I know some people don't really, but those are really the big three things. Americans believe that they're overtaxed or overregulated, and they need to get rid of Obamacare. Those are the big three. And you can toss in regrowing the military, rebuilding the military. That's a big, big thing, but it's not as big as the three that I just mentioned. Because people's wallets are being directly affected by all three. They're being affected by high taxes, they're being directly affected by overregulation, and they're being directly affected by Obamacare. They do not believe they're being directly affected by the lack of a strong military. They are, but they just don't seem to realize that yet. So those are the three. If they don't do those three things, they're going to be in trouble. Otherwise, if they do those three things successfully, it doesn't matter what district they're in. They're not going to lose. They're going to be reelected. This is something that a lot of these blue blood Republicans don't get yet. I don't know why they don't get it. We keep telling them what we want, even in their own districts. We keep telling them and telling them and telling them. And we keep saying, we're going to put you in power. We're going to give you more power. We're going to give you more bodies, more Republicans, so you can get this stuff done that we want you to get done because you told us before you couldn't get it done because there weren't enough bodies. Well, now there's enough bodies, so get it done already. Those are the people who are going to be in trouble for re-election if they do not do what we sent them to Washington to do. And those are the three main things. And Trump is on those three main things like white on rice. But he can't do it alone. He can, well, I guess if he were more like Obama, he'd take his phone and his pen and he'd just write directives all over the place to get it done.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong. And any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hay right.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, But now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
If you are a white working class American, let's just, why do we say working class? If you're a white middle class, middle America, then you are in the majority in feeling that you feel like a stranger in your own country. Yeah, Breitbart has a story. There was a poll released the Public Religion Research by the Public Religion Research Institute and The Atlantic. Now, The Atlantic is a left-leaning rag mag like you would not believe. And the poll examines the sentiments held by white middle-class adults and found that almost half surveyed felt that they had become strangers in their own country. Yes, overall, 51% of Americans think think American culture has not changed for the worse since the 1950s, while 48% that it has changed for the worse. Among the white middle class, 65% think that it has changed for the worst, while 34% think that it has gotten better. Now, family values in general have gone to complete shit, and that is a quote from the Breitbart piece. Since the 1950s is the best way to put it, said one female respondent. I would have to agree. Definitely not in the 50s. Here in America anymore. So if you're white middle class, you probably think you're a stranger in your own country. That just doesn't go for white middle class people. There are a lot of middle class Americans that think that this is not the country that they were born into. They don't recognize it anymore. I'm one of those people. It's hard to recognize the country that I was born into and grew up in. It's not the same one. It definitely is not. Also from Breitbart, deep state leaks highly classified info to Washington Post to smear. Do you people realize that they're all these leftists are accusing Trump of sharing secrets with the Russians? But do you realize you just shared insider information? Somebody leaked it, and I love this. How the meeting happened last week, but current and former U.S. officials concerned that President Trump has shared some. What former? In less than a week, there's a former person from the White House. How are they former? Is anybody paying attention to that part? No, they're not. But there are people that released this information or leaked this information. And they acknowledge that the president has a broad authority to declassify government secrets, making it unlikely that his disclosure has broken any laws. I've already told you that. In addition, his national security advisor, who was also in on the meeting with the Russian foreign minister and the Russian ambassador to the U.S., noting that nothing was shared that was not already public knowledge. So there was no secrets being let out at all over there. I know you got to take these people. You can't take these people seriously. It's just redonkulous, really. They'll say and do anything to try to get to the president, but within a week, there is former employees of the White House releasing and leaking information. Within a few days of each other. Unbelievable. Well, tomorrow's hump day. We'll be back here tomorrow in about 21 hours because we're out of time for the day. Fast 3 hours again as usual. But until then, enjoy your Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.